Cheers, everybody, and welcome to episode 260 of the Michigan Bros Grow Show. We are your panelists slash hosts for Growly and Russ and Rad and Nuttree. And I see Becca in there, and there's anything grows, at least the top of her head back there. There she is. How's everybody doing tonight?
Hey, cheers, guys.
Wonderful. How are you guys?
Very good.
Exhausted.
Very good.
We're high on our own supply over. Well, I am. Becca's
Working on that.
Becca's not.
Sort of rubbed it
It looks
in. So like, let me just turn that knife a little bit. Becca's not.
I really want to try.
Oh, sorry, baby. We'll get Ruben down.
Just think, you're just coming off the best tolerance break ever. So once this is all said and done, the tiniest little dab is going to make you feel so good. Just the tiniest little bit.
I can't wait.
We've got sun-grown flower around here, and
Is anyone else on a tolerance break? I heard some other people were taking tolerance breaks.
What are you talking about? There's no tolerance breaks going on over here.
I can't smoke in the house, so I have to go to the garage. So I'm only smoking like every couple hours now. So I'm on a tolerance break. I'm in between a tolerance break as we speak, as a matter of fact.
I
The
started
one,
counting doobies. and
I'm
it's,
at
a lot.
I'm
less
at about
fun.
30 minutes, 35 minutes of a tolerance break.
Yeah, Baked is, I think, did a week. He's up to a week now.
Ooh.
But yeah, I'm not on it. I took maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. I think it was 5 or 6. 5. I think it was 5 days. 5 days off. It was all right. I prefer not to take 5 days off.
get
But,
cranky.
No, yeah, not easy to irritate for sure.
You
Way irritate.
you feel like you get a similar tolerance break? Maybe not like a full break, but like, what if you only smoked like once a day in the evening? Would you still?
Generally, that's generally the way that I smoke usually anyway, is
Okay.
generally in the evening. I don't really smoke. I get into this like running around phase in the morning, and I don't stop running. And when I go to sit down, that's when I'll hit something, and then I'll slow the fuck down. But I'm usually run, getting shit done.
I usually
And,
stop when I get running around.
if I did that, I'd slow down, and fuck that. I just got to get shit done for some reason, and then I reward myself once I get everything done.
There you go. I do like that idea.
Yeah, there's some benefit to that. I definitely don't abide by that all the time, but it's nice to like earn your first stab of the day, because that first stab of the day just fucking wrecks me every time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's nice to like get a lot of shit out of the way and then be able to woos off for a minute, take that little break. You know what I mean? Because I just took a tolerance break all morning. You know.
Absolutely, and I think it's good to be able to reset it a little bit if you can. Why not?
Well, resetting it is just going back and forth between dabs and flower and changing up strains, but that's just me.
Yeah, it's cool to like if you go without it for, I'd say 2 days, usually within 1 day. But if you go without it for 2 days straight, you'll be able to see. Like I think a lot of us people that smoke every day don't realize the medicinal effect that it's having and think of themselves as more recreational users. But if you don't smoke it for like 2 days straight and you start noticing things like, oh my, why am I so achy? Or there could be a billion different things. Or why am I not tolerant of other people? Or, you know what I mean? For me, it was mostly just like, a mood thing. Like cannabis stabilizes my mood and makes me more open and less inward.
One thing I've noticed in the past for me on tolerance breaks is being able to remember my dreams. If I don't smoke anything, I feel like when I'm smoking it, everybody has dreams, right? It's whether or not you remember them or not. Like when I'm smoking, I don't remember any of my dreams, but when I do have that tolerance break, I start remembering my dreams and everything. So whether that's good or bad, I don't know, whether I have nightmares, I guess, or not, but it's all,
I think it's tied to your sleep for sure. Like how much of different stages of sleep you go through, and cannabis suppresses one of them, and I don't remember which one it is. I don't ever remember my dreams anyway, so unless I get woken up in the middle of one, I usually generally can't remember it.
They say it suppresses REM sleep, which is when it's rapid eye movement sleep. It's where you dream. It's the portion of sleep when you dream. And I do REM. I can REM sleep sitting up. I can start to I can fall asleep so fast and start dreaming and remember my dreams. I've been a chronic smoker for quite a long time. Pun intended, and also habitually a chronic smoker for quite a long time. But yeah, I guess I'm on the, I don't know, not on the statistic side of that statistic. You know what I mean? Because I vividly dream. I vividly travel to a dream world. Damn near every night. I do have a lot of like similar and repetitive dreams, and I don't know if any of that's tied to it.
Do you guys, I don't think any of us do here, but you guys or anyone you know that's a stoner wear one of those like watches that tracks your sleep? Because I'd be curious to know how that compares to someone that doesn't smoke at all.
Yeah, no.
I don't think it's tracking necessarily REM. I don't know what
You
it's
lost me
tracking.
at tracking. You said tracking? Yeah.
I used to, like forever ago when I had a Fitbit, it would tell me probably 8 years ago now, like
I think that those things do track REM sleep.
it's like your movements though. It's just tracking like if you're moving or not moving.
They track some sort of like restful sleep of some sort. I don't know, different,
Mhm.
right? Different programs.
Yeah, I'd just be curious to know if there's any data there that we could get, you know what I mean, just to prove it. Because I've read those articles, and I know it's been in the news, it's been in the podcast we listen to about REM sleep and cannabis and stuff. But from what I understand, it does affect our REM sleep, or at least the studies show that.
yeah,
but it doesn't. They can't figure out why. They don't know what it is that's causing that. You know,
I'll tell you, it affects my
other than
sleep.
the
Period.
association.
Like I can't. Like that was the biggest downside for me on my tea break, and I noticed Regen X brought it up too in chat, and that's my sleep was terrible without cannabis. It's like wake up every half hour. Bullshit.
I used to be a really bad insomniac. When I was a kid, when I was young, like grade school, like early high school, I was a very bad insomniac. I would be up till 2, 3. I would get like 2 hours of sleep, have to get up and go to high school. You know what I mean? And I wasn't smoking weed. You know, it was just I was an insomniac. Started smoking weed, and I was like, oh, I'm tired now. I'm actually, I'm never a decent time when I was younger. You know,
It's
but
more restful when you're not waking up more, just in general. So it's
RSO nowadays keeps me asleep. You know.
that's what I meant.
Even with how much I smoke, I still typically remember my dreams. When I was younger, I had a sleep test done, and I don't go into like that REM sleep very often on just a regular basis because I have hallucinations, and so the dreams that I have are typically hallucinations playing out rather than getting into that deep restful sleep. And what I noticed a lot with the tea break that I did was my dreams became a lot more like angry and violent and aggressive, which is something I hadn't experienced in a long time.
So it's like be able to that whole ability, like I was saying earlier, the whole ability to like take that away and see exactly like, oh, what I've been medicated for, what I've been consuming, I'm getting a medicinal benefit that I'm not even aware that I'm receiving until you take that thing away, and then you start seeing it's like, oh, it's actually affecting more than what I thought. And that's what I saw with Emily. Like it was rough for her to go through. We went through it together for like 5 days, but to see each stage of it play out, it's like, Jesus,
I don't want to do one of those again.
Yeah. So for us, it was like, wow, this is obviously medicine, and it's nothing to be ashamed over. It's just to be able to see, to what effect this is giving you it. Are we getting a medicinal effect? And I think, I mean, I'm a believer. I mean, it's hard to, it's hard to. I mean, I saw night and day differences within myself and with her, especially. It was tenfold with her, but she suffers from, a handful of diseases that were all pretty much amplified. It seemed when she took that off, when she took away the cannabis, and we even had CBD. We had some CBD and concentrate that it didn't really seem to make a difference or touch anything without the THC there.
It's kind of how I feel about CBD, but I don't want to like.
I'll tell you this though: you mix a little bit of CBD in with THC, and it makes a huge difference. I mean, in combination too, I suppose. I took 5 days off and had a tea break, but I put a little bit of CBD in with the THC concentrate, and for me, it feels like that high lasts forever now. It's like it just extends the high out that or the medicinal effect, whatever you want to call it. I get that effect for a lot longer time, like half the day. Yesterday on one dab, it was insane. It was awesome. But all I did was put a little bit of CBD in with it, and it really. And then later, I did a dab just THC, and it was a normal like dab. It was still great, but it wasn't nearly as long. It didn't last half a day. So that was a cool effect to find out that it seems like there's some kind of an extension effect with, and there's some terpenes in those dabs too. So it could be some of the terpenes helping also, but definitely the CBD I think is nice to add in there or to do right after if you don't like the flavor.
They taste, or they do so much better together. I think just in general, they like balance each other out and show like the help the best qualities of the medicine come out.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things like they're better together than either one alone, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and CBD, like you're not supposed to feel it, so you're not gonna just get some effect just from having a little bit of it. You have to take it every day to start getting any type of relief from it, and still then you might not even notice like anything until you stop taking it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it might be one of those things where you don't notice it until you stop. Like,
It's a completely different receptor agonist. THC and many of the other cannabinoids, CBN.
Well, I will say that I did get the drowsiness. That was for sure. I got drowsy as shit on the CBD concentrate. Like it was like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes later, I was yawning and hard to keep my eyes open. But there's not just CBD. There's CBD and there's like, I think 4 different terpenes in each one of them. So
good entourage. The CBD, THC is not supposed to really bond to your CB2 receptors the way that CBD does. And CBD doesn't bond to your CB1 receptors. And subjectively, like if you're talking about like getting high or noticing an effect or an awareness difference, you're not going to notice it from CB2 because that's all of your muscles and your bones. It's your peripheral nervous system. It's your skin. It's your organs. It's not your central nervous system. You notice what's going on when it's affecting your central nervous system. Then you're like, oh, then you're having an awareness differentiation in your central nervous system, and not so much that's why you don't get an effect from CBD. But I mean, yeah, if you're a young pup, man, you're not, you don't have no aches or nothing, you're probably not going to notice much from CBD. But I take CBD on a regular basis and I don't notice it. But if I don't take CBD, I notice that I have not been taking CBD. That's the way that it works out. That's the way when I give the animals CBD, I don't notice that the animal's on CBD. It's a subtlety, right? But you notice when you're not on CBD because there's this action of it. Everything slows down all of a sudden. I slow down when I'm not taking CBD. The dogs slow up. Ruben doesn't take it. He doesn't need to slow. He doesn't need. He needs to slow down, but he's not. Diogi slowed down, hella slowed down when he wasn't on CBD. And I wouldn't notice him on CBD. You know what I mean? But I would notice him not on CBD. That's when you start to like understand the difference. That's the same deal with food.
That's take it away. That's when you tend to notice it more than.
If I eat a whole food diet, if we only like chicken and soup and not even fruits, right? Just like good protein like nuts, and maybe we splurge on some berries or something for a snack or something like that. And then I eat like a bag of chips and like like some bad canola oil, or like not even high sugar, but like just like a bad processed food. Like I feel that shit. I feel it hard. You know what I mean? Like headaches and like lethargy and like shit like that. But I don't notice eating well. You don't notice feeling better because that's baseline. You're feeling baseline. You shouldn't feel baseline. You should feel normal. You know what I mean? And CBD is one of those things that helps you feel baseline. It helps you acquire your homogeneity. What is it?
Homeostasis.
Homeostasis. Yeah, all that. And you should just feel baseline. You shouldn't feel worse. I don't even assume you should feel better.
I think we're all just trying to feel like we're 16 again.
yeah, I guess.
I want to feel that dumb. Damn.
Well, I didn't say dumb. I think I'm going with physically capable, but
yeah, I mean, just like
I'll take 24 or 25. That's what, if I get to pick anywhere. That's probably when I was my best.
I'm gonna go a few years before that. Just I went hard quick.
I want to go when I was still doing sports. I'll go like 17, 18.
Still hurdle our fence. I hurdled our fence out there running after Ruben. So as long as I can still jump over things without using my arms, I'm good.
What about the rest of you?
I got like a 5-foot vertical if I don't stand up straight. Like I can jump up onto things that are like this high. You know what I mean? I can like jump up on there, so I can hike over some stuff.
I call BS.
I can jump up on the rail of our deck.
I still got my best days to come yet. I still got my best days to come.
There you go. I like it.
I trip over gates. That's because that's 1 foot. That's not That's not a bunny hop. I'm gonna start hopping. I jumped over that gate, the baby gate over there. I've hopped over it a few times without you. Beats. Ruben does.
Ruben's just scared of it for
Like
no
father,
reason.
like son. Is what it sounds like over there. It sounds like you got a Papa Ruben and a.
Yeah, I just nicely.
He needs
I could just see Red jumping over a gate and then Ruben jumping right after him over it.
oh man.
I take that all back. I don't know if
We
I
started
go another gate.
moving the gate, like taking the gates away, so giving him some more freedom. And 'cause I can't really get over the gates anymore these days, so it's been rough.
I had my skinny jeans on, and I'm like,
Jesus.
Are they
You guys
skinny?
teach Ruben to walk around like a human on his back legs, walk around behind Red. It'd be hilarious.
I like normal Levi 505s. Ain't nothing.
Oh, I would
Throw a tie-dye shirt on him, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
You guys see that picture on his story? They looked the exact same when Ruben had his tongue out in his lap.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to pull up. Here it is. I don't think I showed you guys. So our what's it called? The chocolate is getting washed. This is the wash water. Almost red.
Dang, nice.
Looks
And then
like
I got a video. Hold on, I can see if I got that. Where'd that go? But that it's like yeah, it's like red.
Ooh.
looks like blood.
Spooky.
So I'm
So what
excited.
is that? Anthocyanthins or what?
Yeah, it was the two purple phenols.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of some purple, you guys know 321 Genetics. I got this rainbow sherbet from him, and he said it's like one of the most beautiful plants he's ever grown. It's very pretty. Nice and frosty, nice and dense, and nice and purple.
I like
That
it.
was a great interview that you guys had with him on variables the other night.
Yeah. What was the terps like that on that one?
I mean, it's just that sherbet, man.
Just sure.
It reminds me of Cobra Milk a little bit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Kind of along those like kind of fruity, soft, fruity terps, kind of like creamy almost. But
Creamy, like
but it's got like a sharper, sweeter flavor than, that more like ice cream, like real sugary, almost sharp, rather than like milky, from the cereal milk.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's less creamy, more sugary, if that makes
More
sense. But it's
sweet.
still like similar profile.
Okay.
It's lingering though. I closed this jar. It's still lingering in here. I have to smoke some of this. I like that kind of that lane of flavors. I'm really excited to get some more Cobra milk and a flower. Get some more extract of that because I like smoking
one.
flower, but that one really shines with extract, I think.
Yeah, Emily's upset that I got rid of that one. She really likes that one.
I'll have to maintain it for now until you're ready to bring it back around.
We just I just trimmed up I had a King Hakan
Nope.
that I harvested and finished drying, and so I trimmed her up and she smokes very nicely. Nice and
nice.
smooth.
It's a GG4 times locomotion. It's an old
Or
TGA Genetics subcool tester. I don't know if it was ever released.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a real nice smoke.
yeah, next one that I'm trying is
was
I've
the-
got Motorcycle Latte that I just started from Candyman Seeds. It's supposed to be like a leather.
Yeah, it's like vanilla and leather or something like that. And I was like, that is
Oh.
interesting. I've yet to see leather on cannabis, so I'm super interested in that one. There's two going. They both look pretty good right now.
That will be interesting because leather makes me think of was it Scotch or something? Aren't there like Scotches that taste real leathery?
It's kind of what I was getting off of this one of the golden goats we have, but I was thinking like nutty. It's almost like that, like it reminds me of some kind of like a brown earth tone. And I don't mean like something else that's brown.
Like poop.
Yeah. Not like but like a leather or like something like raw, like I was
Like
thinking
nutty almost, like a
muddy, like not that
no,
far.
nutty, like
Yeah.
nut tree nutty.
Like a cashew nutty.
Like nuts in your
Cashew
mouth.
encrusted lamb
I wasn't going there.
Oh,
But I've never
Look at
seen
me. I'm nutty.
so I'm wondering if that's what I'm getting. That like that's what it's more like leather. I guess it's not sharp on leather's a little sharp, right? Like you're thinking like a leather's a little high end, right? This is a little low end.
I don't know, man.
I don't know if I don't know how I describe leathery because I think of it kind of with like smoky kind of flavors too.
I feel like it would be a full mouth feel. You know, it's not going to just hit the tip of your tongue or the back of your throat. It's going to be a full mouth feel.
Like a purse, like a leather purse.
Like a cigar.
I'm thinking of like, I'm trying to relate it to like a wine, you know, like a leathery wine.
Oh,
You know, it would have more of the tannins to it. So it would.
I was thinking of like when you walk into a Wilson leather store. You walk into
Mhm.
it with that fucking
That's what
leather store.
really sharp, like a sharp smell.
But maybe
Well,
that's the chemicals, like you're saying.
For
that can-
wine, so for wine, the mouth feel that's leathery typically means it's high in tannins with a thick, soft taste.
Almost like I know my wine. I feel good about that. Thank you for confirming. I wasn't just talking out of my ass.
Chewy, yeah. Earthy flavor.
I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. They started off looking a little weird, but they've grown well into it nicely now.
Yeah.
So only a few notes high, very young.
Speaking of GG4s, then we just chopped down 2 of those, and then I got a Cherry Paloma, some motherfucking Jones, which is AKA Junior Mints, and then I think there was one more I'm missing. Storm Shadow, yeah, Storm Shadow.
Oh, nice.
Actually, what I have right now is a Storm Shadow GG4
Mix?
doobie mix that I'm gonna smoke
it.
here. Yeah.
That's a good mix. I like that.
Yeah. It's good. Each one is good by themselves, but GG4 is pretty Tara's had some thumbs ups at work. She let some people at her work try it, and they enjoyed the smoke. So that's always positive to hear. It was good to hear people like enjoying it, and it gets you high. So
Yeah.
it's on good taste. And
I will
obviously-
say, oh, I'm sorry. I'll let you finish. I'm sorry.
nope, I'm pretty much finished. GG4, everybody knows the taste of GG4, and if you
Right.
can
I was going to say, he said it's
reproduce.
GG4, but when I smoke regular GG4, I get a very weird headache, like a sinus headache, because I'm allergic to the pinene in it. And GG4 is super strong in that. But the GG4 cross to the locomotion, I've been smoking that today, just a couple of bowls here and there, and I haven't had any kind of like that
Really?
type.
Yeah, it adds almost the floral, like I would say, to the GG4 profile, whatever, kind of mixed in.
Today when I was smoking a GG4, I kind of tasted the floral taste or weird taste. And then I always know, when you blow your nose or you like whatever, you can like get that taste too. It gets the back of your throat or whatever. Like GG4 is good for that, to be able to taste it as you are cough or something like that. You can taste it in the back of your throat or whatever.
For the first time, I tasted a similar profile on 2 different strains. And one of them I hadn't smoked in like a year or 2. I might have hit maybe some of our GMO. I smoked something last year of our outdoor. I can't remember. And then something else. I always smoke a little something out of our outdoor. Usually all ends up going into getting washed and hashed and stuff like that. But there's this underlying flavor. Now, today I smoked some of our Puro Loco number 2, which is kind of cheesy, kind of skunky, kind of like a soap skunk. It's kind of like dial soap. And I had some indoor of it that we're running some selections through, and it was really good in the indoor. I didn't taste this like underlying flavor.
When you say soapy, is it cilantro soapy?
See, I don't taste soap and cilantro, so
Okay, I don't either, but that's what I was wondering if that's what you were describing.
no, it's more like it's more like an unscented soap. You know what I mean? Like not like soap labeled Fresh Breeze, or not soap, not Irish Spring, or nothing like that. It's like unscented soap, straight dial, antibacterial soap, but with like a skunk rubber ball element to it. It's kind of funky. And anyway, this had this hint of something, and remember that hint of something coming out of whatever it was that I smoked last year. I don't know. It was flow. And I can even smell it in the flow. And maybe in the lemon dozy and something like that. So I don't know if it's pushing a mineral, if there's something in, clay or something like that. But it's definitely like the one time where I've tasted something similar, and like I'm not using hydro back there, so I'm not tasting like similar. I'm not tasting our whatever hydro line it is. But when I run our mineral salts, and I do run hydro indoor, I don't taste a similarity between my genetics. Like I can smoke a whole bunch of, I can smoke 5 different things and not taste any similarities at all. And these are, the flow is something I've had for years and years and years. And then I don't think that it's just this it's not even anything like identifying to the strain, right? It's not something that I would say is even similar to when I grow at hydro.
Is it earthy?
No, it's like this. I don't know. And like the ash wasn't black and cakey or nothing like that. Like I wouldn't assume to be like something to do with like moisture. It's something like, maybe it's just because it's outdoor, and maybe it's like dust, maybe it's cottonwood, maybe it's bugs, maybe it's rain, acid rain, fallout from the airplanes that are continuously flying overhead.
Maybe it's leprechaun shit.
Could be leprechaun. We've had some rainbows. It could be stuff like that.
Something from the solar storm.
Solar storm debris, The big one is airplanes fly directly over our house, not over my neighbor's house. I look straight up. I see the underbelly of the plane. I'm like, this thing's coming at my yard. Sure enough, right over top of me. I can't catch an angle either way. It's directly above me. If I were 20 feet to either side of me, I'd be looking at the plane from an angle. You know what I mean? It's wild how I probably just lit up our home on where we live. You know, what I
Maybe
mean?
gives you extra CO2 or something.
It's the Kalkaska Airport. If you want to know which airport we're not near, it's the Kalkaska Airport. So it can give you an even more identifying number on where we live. But yeah, dude, right over top of us, we got avgas for the most part burns really clean, so I'm not really concerned about too much of that. But there is, I mean, it's there. It's probably not falling directly on us. I mean, but they're not in the air. They're not in the jet stream either. I mean, they're like maybe more than 50 feet above us, but they're like there. If my ups aren't that good, but if I had just a little bit more power in my legs, maybe if I was 16, I could probably smack the wheels. Right?
Can't you buy the airspace above your house so that they can't fly in it?
I'd love to
No.
shoot
Oh.
rockets, maybe something.
Girlie's instantly no. I checked into
He
it.
looked into it.
From the tops of the blades of grass to 80,000 feet, there's already someone that owns it. Sorry.
If I jump off my balcony, if I do the Mario moon jump where I hold down really, really heavy and then jump, I could smack the underbelly of DC-10.
They're not
But
close.
they're pretty dang close. So they're pooping on the plants. So maybe it's a little bit of that. But I mean, I don't know. It's probably more like bat poop and bird poop and all that other fun stuff that's in our atmosphere and just particles and particulate. That's probably
Or
what I'm
maybe
tasting.
it's just soil.
I think it's the soil. I think it has to do with the soil. I think that there's, but what's weird is I don't get a commonality flavor profile thing. Not even a flavor profile. It's something in the smoke. It's in the smoke itself. It's a underlying harshness in the smoke itself.
Maybe it's because it's from the sun and not HPS lights, or there's so many things different.
Well, that's what I mean. There's a ton of variables. A lot of it probably has to do with the fact that they're rained on. I mean, that's a big variable. Well, another one is, I mean, there's, but I don't want to say that I taste that it's harsh.
How long ago was it harvested?
Like
Is
10
it
days.
fresh?
Yeah, but no, it's even if I smoked it like for my indoor early, it wouldn't be the same. It's just
I
like
think it's a specific terpene that's harsh to your.
it's not even a terpene. It's not even, I don't even know what to say it is. It's like
Just the harshness of smoke.
it's a harshness of the smoke. It's a very specific flavor I'm getting through the harshness of the smoke. Yeah. I don't think it's part of the cannabis at all. I think
So
it's part of what's in the cannabis.
So it could be like grasshopper shit or something.
It's possible.
Okay.
Like it could be anything like that. Like it's possible. It
I-
could be shit.
I think you're probably overthinking this. I think it actually probably is something more like the light spectrum that the sun's giving, the soil that it's growing in, or just a combination of all things that are outdoors. But doing a little digging into this while you're talking, have you ever tasted a soapy carrot? You ever tasted like carrots that taste like soap?
No,
What?
no.
No.
So apparently some carrots have a high concentration of beta myrcene, which is obviously one of the cannabinoid or one of the terpenes in our plants. And it has a distinct resinous and green smell, as well as its bitterness when gathered in high concentrations, making it a likely contributor to soapy smells or tastes in carrots, this says.
Huh.
I also
Uh,
looked up the strain called the soap. I'm wondering if, like many of the things
Myrcene
that I
heavy.
work with, if it's that flavor profile, if it actually is like soap. I've never tried it, but if it is like soap, they're saying those kind of flavors are like mint and where was it?
menthol.
Mint, pine, and cheese, which I think Red mentioned all three of those earlier in this
The cheese,
conversation.
yeah.
The mint and the cheese, at least.
Emily was mentioning the pine, but yeah.
Okay. And so now I'm like, well, let's take a
So-
look at those.
so if you-
hold on real quick. Hold on real quick. So
What
let's
about
take a look at those
Colin?
terpenes.
Those are
And this
sulfur.
one, it says it's highest in caryophyllene, followed by
Look
limonene.
into the sulfur,
Really?
spectrum, and apparently in the cheese lines and the skunk lines, those like those esters and those sulfurs are what's giving those like skunky, cheesy smells.
Yeah, I've heard that.
What's hard for me to
Also,
think
sulfur
it's hard
compound.
for me to think that it's beta myrcene is myrcene acts more like a sedative, and these is not.
Myrcene is more.
None of the cheese flavors I've had are sedating. They're very like stimulating. Like I can't get through half a joint without like being anxious to the point where I have to put it out and go do something. Far beyond like the myrcene heavy.
Right.
Yeah, but we're talking about flavor.
Right. You have to remember too that what the effects that happens to you may be completely opposite with me. For me,
well, I smoke heavy myrcene and it knocks me out. You know what I mean?
oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so you've had experience. Okay, never mind.
Oh yeah, everything's got myrcene. Everything's high.
Yeah, I was gonna say most things. That's usually that's one of the. That's usually
that's why I smoke so limiting, like high lime and stuff like that, because they're lacking the myrcene. Myrcene is like if I take acetaminophen, I'll be out and you won't be able to wake me up type thing.
Is that the same thing that's in Turkey?
No, that's
tryptophan. You know, they can act. Acetaminophen like really acts as a like I don't know, depressant or downer or something like that on my system completely. But so does myrcene, and it's like whoa. I can't get through like strawberries and cream or Granddaddy Purple. I can't get through a full joint of any of that stuff. I'm out so fast. And then anything that's like a little bit heavier or like skunky or like cheesy or all that's very stimulating for me. Limey, not so much lemony. Lemony is not so much. I don't really feel anything off lemon. It's that lime that really hits like whoa. It's like an overpowering effect almost.
I'm getting excited about probably a couple weeks away or so to have it all done, but looking like we're going to be harvesting soon the rainbow monks that we're growing at the Trichome Forest, so that'll be cool to get all those. And then we got
Dirty Taxi.
Yeah, what else do we have going in behind us? Dirty Taxi. I think there's a Donnie Burger.
Oh, Donnie, yeah.
One Donnie. And there's something else. I forget what the other one is, but I'm excited for new strains going in. So, and we got the hookup from GML. He's hooking up one room. So the first upgrade is going to be Tarantula Voyagers. We got 4 Tarantula Voyagers going in, which are they're a spectrum tuning light. They're not the very top end one, but they're still they're badass. They're two. It's got basically 2 ballasts or 2 drivers on each light, and they're both 750 watts. And one of them is a cool white, so it's a full spectrum of blue, like a metal halide. And the other one is 750 watts of a HPS. So it's got it's a full spectrum with added red. So you can mix and match by just dimming the 2 sides to make whatever spectrum you want, or 16 preset spectrums or something like that. So it's going to be cool to screw around with those. We're going to put all 4 up in one room. So that'll fill a whole room with those. And then we're also going to get, when it releases, the under canopy to go in there. And he's hooking us up with the Predator lights, which is the IPM lights, the UVCs. So we'll have one like just kitted out room, and it's going to be dope. So super excited for that. And shout out to GML for hooking it up.
That's sick. Are you guys doing anything different between the rooms, or is it just going to be the lighting?
No, that's the room. The current flower room we have now, we're going to replace. We have just HLGs in there. So we're taking those down, the Scorpions. Okay. Putting all that shit in. And then the room that we've just completed the walls in and everything, we're getting ready to hang up. We got to get electrical in there first. Mm-hmm. Once the electrical gets run, then we'll get the lights up, and we've got, so that'll be another GML room. But we've got some old lights that I've had. So we're putting up like a board light, the Vulcan board one. We're gonna have a tent light up there, and the 5x5, and I think we might put a couple more like 4x4 tent lights up, or maybe a long leg or something like that. And we'll run that room all all with one control. I think we can run that room with all one controller, one GML controller. So that'd be cool.
Nice.
I plan on doing a couple of videos, shooting a couple of videos when we do it to try to show people how to hook up the controller to those lights and show what those
Yeah.
lights do. So it'll be fun.
I'm most excited about the Dirty Taxi one. I think I want to see that one. That was going to be good. Yeah.
Seen a lot of good stuff with Dirty Taxi, so yeah, I'm excited for that one too.
Yeah.
Cheers, Red. Sorry, I tossed that in there.
School of Crop, shout out to them. They said GML versus HLG. Yeah, it's not even a fair fight. These are Scorpions, HLG Scorpions. It's not HLG's new model. And yeah, GMLs would just fucking annihilate them. It's not even a fucking it's not even worth the experiment to prove it, because it's like, yeah, just look at the numbers. You can go to DLC, it's independent tested lights, you can see the numbers, and yeah, it's right there on paper. It's way way better upgrade. So very happy to have them.
What's something that you guys want to get your hands on next?
As far as genetics or what?
Yeah.
You asking them or me?
Them.
Oh, sorry.
I know what we want to get our hands on next. We want Space Queen.
Yeah, Space Queen would be nice. That'd be awesome. Turbine Poison would be another good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I've got 40 mothers right now. So
Well, you just hunted new flavors.
nothing. At the moment, nothing. I've got every flavor I could think of at the moment going through. So I need to sift and cull at the moment. And then let me think. And then quite possibly gas, because that's what everybody asks for that walks by the table, and I have everything except like Kush gas.
Yeah.
You know, I have like everything except like Josh DOG Kush. You know, I have a lot of skunky gassy or sweet gassy profiles, and the people that are looking for that pine gas. But I had the pine, and it was too piney, not enough gassy. You know, so the Bubba's not gas enough. The Rainbow's overly skunky gas, and I think the OG Kush is just right. But I have some like Dozy Dough and some stuff like that I think I'm gonna run eventually. But I think I'm gonna give us a nice little chunk of time before I do any more pheno hunting. I need to run. Oh, duh! Granddaddy Purple Blue Steel. Why am I not shouting that out from the rooftop? That's what I want.
That's right.
Duh. Grew all this Granddaddy Purple Blue Steel stuff, and we actually got a bunch of crosses out of our garden this year with the Blue Steel male. So a lot of that stuff. Yeah.
What is that blue steel?
The Blue Steel is OG Blueberry Cut times the cube. And so OG Blueberry Cut, I think, is like old keeper. Like, I think it's the old 2003, early 2000s DJ Blueberry. And then I think that is crossed with the cube, which the cube is like Starfighter F2 times Starfighter F2 or something like that. Starfighter F2, which is basically a lineage of OG Kush.
Yeah,
So it's a
good
work.
people. A lot of people work with Starfighter. It's a good breeder for sure.
Yeah. So there's no Girl Scout cookies, but there is some Kush in there, and it's a lot of like old school genetics, and that thrown with the Granddaddy Purple, which is Mendo and skunk and stuff like that, and that's old school genetics. We have really nice hybrid with those ones, and then the Blue Steel is also thrown to some of the other females that we have. We had 4 really nice females. One of them was really nice and kind of a keeper blueberry female, and that was the one we pollinated the most of, so it kind of worked out nicely. We ended up not labeling a couple plants in our indoor. We labeled them, but we labeled them, but we didn't take mother clones off of them. So we have a Rainbow Belts and a DJ Short Blueberry in flower right now that hopefully aren't our keepers. You know what I mean? Or else I'm gonna have to do a re-veg on them. But I have 2 Rainbow Belts coming in late flower right now that might just be keepers anyways. The other one is kind of a toss-up. Someone said, "What are we growing? What strain is in our room?" Currently in flower right now, in one flower room. Off of one reservoir, we have a Tropicana cookies, we have a Dub Bub, we have a Rose Gold, we have a Tahiti Lime, we have a Durban Margie, we have Rainbow Driver, Rainbow Belts, DJ Short Blueberry, Blue Steel, and Golden Goat on one reservoir. On the other reservoir, in the same room, mind you, this is only how many lights do we have in this room? 6 lights. This is a 6 lighter. In this other room, other half of the 6 lighter, we have there's some more Tropicana cookies phenos. There's an Apollo 13 bag seed from some Apollo 13. Who was that? That was originally Apollo 13 by Cosa Farm.
All 13 is exciting. That's exciting.
Super cheesy, dude. Super cheesy, super heady. And I got rid of it back in the day because it just wasn't working with the system. But I had some bag seed out of it. And so I finally running one of those. It's chunky. Let's see. There's a vanilla gorilla in there, which is like Grease Monkey and Gorilla Glue or something like that. There's like 5 different phenos of Rainbow Belts 1.0 on that one. Another Golden Goat, more Blue Steel, more DJ Short Blueberry. The DJ Short Blueberry and one of the Rainbow Belts, so I did not back up others around that next round. And a Strawberries and Cream.
I may have here's the news. I may have lost my Orange Dream Haze. I have it trying to re-veg right now. And I have a plant in flower right now that I'm going to probably re-veg. If the little cut I took off doesn't re-veg. But we've popped a couple more of my Orange Vortex, which is just across the Vortex. So I did pop a couple seeds of Orange Vortex too. So we got that popped. Forgot about that.
I just got done counting 18 seeds of Cheesequake. So maybe I could do like 9 Cheesequakes. Everybody's been asking me for Cheesequake. So maybe I could do pop nine of them and do a run and see what I come up with there. Possibly.
That's cool. I like that idea.
And then I'd still have 9 for another time later.
Yep. Are they normal or reg seeds?
They're regular seeds, yeah. I got them from a place actually Jack Greenstock recommended. I reached out to him and what's that?
Is it North Star?
I think so. I think it was North Star. Maybe I asked him where I could get some subcool genetics, and he told me there. So I don't know. This is the packaging that it came in, but what's kind of generic, you know. So, but the last time,
he got most of Sub's old stock, so that's the guy to go to. For sure.
Gotcha. Heck yeah. So what about you, Pergolis? Did you say anything you're gonna?
I mean, honestly, I'm kind of. I mean, I don't got 40 mothers, but I'm still kind of wrapping up this pheno hunt that I started probably about this time last year. You know, I got those 5 different phenos of Raspberry Parfait and Squirt, and I think I've got them both narrowed down to I think 2 right now. So hopefully after these next harvests, we'll kind of determine a winner, and then. Gosh, I'm really not trying to add new strains to the garden right now, but I do a pheno hunt every year. And 2025 will bring for sure another pheno hunt. I just have no idea what I'll be popping. I know I have seeds in the same spot they've been since the last pheno hunt, and it was the seeds that I was thinking about popping alongside the other ones. And there's maybe 4 or 5 strains, and they're literally still sitting in that same spot. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just pop those ones. We'll see. I'm just trying to maintain what I got at this point, though.
I'm always popping, man. I'm always popping seeds. I got so much shit. I just need more time, more space, and have more pop.
It's hard, man. It's really hard to find a winner. One one of the questions we asked 321 is like, how many strains do you like to keep at a time? And I think he was saying like a half dozen or something like that, maybe between 6 and 10, something like that. And, you know, as a caregiver, plant counts, all that kind of whatever, really it's limited space, I think, for me at this point. But yeah, it's just hard. It's hard to manage certain number of strains. And like Red just said, things, and Spartan, actually, you guys both said how you either didn't have clones of or lost a strain, you know, recently. And I mean, that happens all the time. I've lost quite a few strains in the past just by either, you know, not taking clones of them and not getting the re-veg in, or mislabeling things, or just not taking good inventory. And, you know, or just having a couple bad batches of clones or whatever it might be. So to like introduce a brand new strain, which to be fair, it's not as high of risk of like bringing in clones, but there is some risk there, because from what I understand, HLV can be in seeds too, right? So it's like, you know, even popping seeds could be a potential disaster, I guess. So at a certain point, you got to weigh all those things. You know, I've been very fortunate, like with the Cobra Milk clone, right? Like, didn't have any issues with that one. I haven't really taken in too many, I guess, clones other than that, but it's, you know, I don't know. I kind of limit myself on the rate at which I'm like finding new strains. And let's be honest, like the last 3, which would be Cobra Milk and the Raspberry Parfait and the Squirt. I guess the Squirt is kind of the one I was looking for, but the other 2 were recommended to me by both Spartan and Baked, I think. So, you know, I went out and found that Raspberry Parfait, the genetics, and went and hunted them. You know, I was offered the Cobra Milk by Spartan because he knew that's the flavor I was looking for at the time, and it was fucking spot on. So I'm still running that one, but the Grape Fun Dip, that's the most recent one I no longer am propagating. That was one of those strains that I really thought was maybe going to be competitive with Garlic Punch, just because I kind of felt that kind of grape berry flavor coming from both of them. But the Cushman side of things on the Grape Fun Dip did not beat out the GMO side of things on the Garlic Punch. And that just upfront garlic flavor was just so much more just pronounced, overall better, I think. Cheers, Tara. Welcome.
Hey, guys.
And you know, there's a lot of different reasons that you might want to continue propagating a strain, especially when it comes to like flavor effects, bag appeal, whatever. But I'll tell you what, that strain sucked trimming. It was so dang leafy. There's some good nug meat on there, but it was so leafy. So that one's gone. And
oh, look at Tara with the new fucking wraps.
Got the first jar.
Oh shit.
One of one. She's got the number 0. She's got the
I got the 0. I got the prototype. I haven't even cracked it open yet. I told him, I was like, fill it up for me, and I'm not even opening it. Love it. New track home forward slaps.
It's gonna be worth millions. How long are you gonna hold up to it?
I don't know. Probably until I run out of the other jars.
You can't open it. You can't crack it.
I can.
No, you can't.
But I'm not gonna.
No.
Not for a while. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, Tara. Hope you're doing good.
Yeah, doing good. Just getting off work and got to get to bed early. I've got, we're doing a bunch of flour this week for Fresh Frozen. Some beautiful, beautiful flour. We've got some rosin that's coming out soon. So we've been.
Any strains out there you got that you got your eye on that you're hoping to try that you haven't tried before, like a new one?
Yeah, we've got this candy pave or pave. I'm not sure exactly how they say it correctly on the PAVE. I don't know if it's like one of those like Glee things or not.
Is there a thing above the
No,
E?
there's not. That's super like candy and sweet, and oh my gosh, it smells so good. And then, oh darn it, what was this one? Firelight.
Firelight.
We've got a bunch of different phenos of that, but I think it's Firelight 1. Wow, it smells so stinking good. I just absolutely love it. I couldn't keep my hands off of it. It was really, really nice. Very sherb leaning. Very sherb
Okay.
cake leaning.
Sweet too, like really sweet.
Very sweet too.
Yeah.
I'm really digging this sherb stuff right now. That and some biscotti and
I
yeah.
always do like
But yeah, we don't have biscotti there, but
the biscotti.
this Firelight
gonna
is
say it's-
definitely.
It's always rare to see biscotti at the commercial scenes because it
Yeah,
tests.
no, we don't know.
But it
Sorry.
fucking always hits me hard.
No, I recently got some permanent marker, and that's got biscotti, jealousy, and sherb in it, and the combination of those three are really tasty.
Oh man, that sounds good. I like all those strains. I haven't tried the permanent marker yet, but I
Oh
like
man, I so recommend that.
It does come highly recommended from Taro. Say those strains again for me.
It's biscotti, jealousy, and sherb.
I cannot believe that because I was actually okay. Maybe I just need to try it from a couple different growers, but I was disappointed in permanent marker because
Really,
I heard so much hype about it, including from you, Tara, that I was excited to try it. When I did, I was just like, oh man, okay.
Did you get the actual one with them in the marker or whatever that it made it look like it was a marker, a gimmicky one?
No.
Or what? No.
Yeah,
No,
I think I can't remember who is that brand that we get that from. Darn it, I can't remember.
Citizen.
No, it's not Citizen.
Not Citizen. It was.
Darn, I can't remember. It's been a while since
I
we
used
got
to
that
have one of
too.
those.
But
I like to reuse that one too.
Yeah,
because it looks like a marker, you know, or whatever.
so far the few
Seeds
kinds I've had have
would
been
you
really
be-
good.
Was it like a doob tube? Or is it you
Yeah,
talking about
the doob
Mhm.
tube, plastic doob tube looks like a Sharpie.
Yeah, it looks like
Okay.
a permanent marker Sharpie.
So whatever that one is, I'm sure.
Yeah,
you-
I
super
mean, I
good.
like all those strains though. So I don't know.
Well, I
it's
just
interesting.
I splurged and went to a dispo in Cincinnati.
Uplifted.
Was it Uplifted?
I think it's uplifted.
Might have been Uplifted. And just because I'm like trying to get out there and try some stuff from Cincinnati, I wanted to try. I didn't see the one that I went to was the Forest. I didn't see any rosin that I wanted to buy. That's what I was kind of looking at. They didn't have anything that I was interested in. So I did settle on a cart, which is the permanent marker from Clutch. They were really recommended highly from a few people that I work with, so I thought I'd give them a try. And I've honestly, it's one of the best carts that I've had in a very, very long time. It was $70 for a whole gram. That was out the door with tax.
God damn.
I know it was really steep. It's a gram, but I don't really smoke a lot of carts, so it's more kind of like in between, like if I'm, in the store,
It'll
so
last a
I'm
while.
running in between. Yeah, it'll last me a few weeks. So I did justify the $70, but I did want to try something. I am, really trying to, get out there and try some Ohio stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was super happy with it. It's very clean. I do not find myself choking and hacking. Very great taste. So I was very happy with it.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like the price. Obviously,
Yeah, that's fucking
really
sticker
steep.
shock as fuck to me. Oh.
Yeah, but I really did enjoy the and it's CO2.
Is it disposable?
No, it's not a disposable. It's a 510 thread. But they
I
have it
feel
in a
like-
510 thread, and then in Ohio they do these luster pods. I don't know if Michigan's doing that or not, but I'm not really into the carts, so that's why I
I'll
might
say
be
I
like
wouldn't
out of
know.
that.
It was a
Mhm.
live resin though. Was it live resin or was it a distillate pen?
No, it's live resin.
Yeah, the elements, the Lion Labs. I want to say back when we were first kicking off, it was like they were like $70 for a half a gram of live resin.
Yeah. Sometimes it's really worth it. I didn't have a problem, but buying it because I really wanted to try it. I wanted to give them a chance.
Anyone
so-
wants to give me $70 for half a gram, I totally can find some grams to give you.
And it's
What
probably
is it?
Yeah, it's a worth it.
the percentages are like 70 couple percent, I mean, there's got to be something in there, maybe a terpene or something. I don't know what they're using to kind of get it float in the the cartridge like that. I don't think there's any carrier oils at I think they just use terpenes and stuff nowadays. But like, I don't know. That's a ticket for that. It sure is. Where you think like if you just get a gram of rosin or a gram of live resin, you don't have to worry about any added carriers, even if they are just terpenes or something like that. You're getting full plant. Well, not any carriers, but like a terpene could be a carrier, anything like that.
They
Like
should have any additives on live rosin or live resin should have no.
It says I'm looking at them on Weemaps. It says pure live resin, so I would assume there's no additives in them.
okay, but yeah, I mean you're getting half grams, heavy, man. Well, the gram, that's good for a gram. So you're talking, just $35 a half gram. Yeah, that's relatively.
These say $20 for half grams at jars for the.
Oh, we're talking in Ohio. What Tara was paying.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot different.
70 for a gram, and I was saying that half grams up here of live resin back when we kicked off were $70. So she's still getting a better deal down in Ohio than what we were getting when we opened the doors. Because Lion Labs was selling elements for like that much money. At least the dispensaries were selling it for that much money.
The only thing we can reliably go on in terms of start that we have data for is the price of an ounce of flour. And we know that when we started, month one was just over $500 an ounce for flour. And now we're at just under $80 an ounce for flour here in Michigan. So I'm curious to know what the average price of that's what we're talking averages. I'm curious to know what the average price of an ounce of flour is at a dispensary in Ohio now, I guess. And I don't know if they have that data out, if they're producing it, or if you could make a guesstimation there, but
it's kind of hard because like 2 grams is $48.
mm-hmm.
So I think it's like 2.73 is how it comes out. And yeah, out the door, you're like 50 something bucks.
And I think it depends if you have your med card still too, or
Well, it's fucking wreck. Yeah.
Yeah, that just matters for the tax.
well, sometimes the different places have.
No, and there's no deals in Ohio. You get no industry discounts. You get no first time person discounts.
That's wild.
There's no like point system. They say they're legally not allowed to do that.
Yeah, it's probably gimmicky marketing to children or something that they're doing. The regulators are saying. I mean, if we're talking tenths, which is I think what Ohio sells the like 2.8s or whatever it actually is, but if we're talking tenths of ounces and it comes out to be about $50 a pop, then yeah, you're at $500 an ounce. Then you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's steep. I was trying to look it up right now.
Yeah, we'll just
actually.
look it up now.
Can you guys sell ounces, or is it only by the tenths?
I've never been to the one, and I've never been to a dispo in Ohio yet.
I think they can only sell in half ounces.
Good on you, Nut Tree. I love you.
I've only been to Michigan dispos,
Hey,
And I-
all right.
and I barely even go there. I'd rather go to you guys anyway.
Appreciate you, big dog.
Love that.
We got connected. Actually, she was just at Bakes this morning. She was at Tricombe Forge again. Shout out Tricombe Forge. It's
Hey, we appreciate you guys.
yeah,
Appreciate you guys. I'm waiting on that dirty taxi.
yeah. That's what I was saying earlier.
You missed it, Tara. We showed off some of the wash water. Did Bake show you the wash water of the
No,
chocolate?
no, he didn't.
It's like
Stinker.
red.
There's a couple shows you can see it on. You can see it on our show. You can see it on Let's Be Buds. I think you showed it. You show it again. Show it again.
I'll show you the picture. I'm gonna try to find that. It's just wild how red it is.
Purple. It's as purple as that behind red there. That purple light, whatever he's got on. Yeah. See it?
Yeah, that's the wash water.
Oh wow, that's awesome! I can't wait to see how that turns out.
Red wine.
Yeah.
Feels so
All right,
fun.
so this is only going to give us a very brief glimpse into this, but it says I searched permanent marker. I don't think I actually got that far, but I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio on Weed Maps. A lot of 2.83s, right? So I assume that's the tenths. 35, 40, 45 kind of range. I did find 1 ounce right here, actually a couple for 190 for a full ounce.
Okay.
It's all the same brand. There's a 120 for a half ounce.
Jeez. Still getting over 200 an ounce.
90 for
What
an
was
eighth
our
right
average?
there.
What was our average price based on?
Recreational average ounce flower was 500 to start. It's under 80 now.
Is that wholesale or is that retail?
That's retail.
Yeah, I see one here right there for 14.15 grams, $123. So,
Yeah, there's a full ounce for 200.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you're buying them in tenths, then yeah, you're spending 500 an ounce. But really, it looks like the average price for an ounce of flower is around $200.
That's what I was saying. They got better prices than we did when we started because we were selling. Like I worked at the Dispo in the beginning of it was the middle of fucking COVID. You know what I
It's
mean?
good, no competition, but
Fucking
they have us as competition. They
That's what I
keeps
mean.
the prices down.
Yeah,
the
big time.
prices were $70 for a half a gram cartridge. You know, that was like 6 months after the stores opened up. Price they didn't start dropping until mid 2021, something like that. Then the price really started to plummet.
Once enough of those big grows got online and we got a crop or two of outdoor under our belt, had enough distillate shipped in from Cali to stock our edible shells, and we're good to go.
That was also about the time that they implemented the excess growers license as well, which allowed Class C's to adopt like another 1,000 plant, as many excess grower licenses. I think they could have as many as they want to buy.
Yeah, but you could already stack licenses. I mean, I don't think that had any effect. I think it was just amount of actual licenses they had online and the just fierce competition to get on the shelf. You know what I mean?
Tara, I love your glass. Fucking the same glass. Hell yeah.
Where do you guys shop? Target?
Dollar store.
That's an
Dollar store.
old glass right there. That's been around for years, I'm sure.
I got mine for $1.
Even better.
I don't know. This came from my old man, I think. Somewhere down the lines. That's down generation. Grandpa will have it.
I got mine
Longer
off
than a
an
bomb.
end cap. I got mine off an end cap for $1.
But now you can tell a story to your children and their children about how you got this mug and from the dollar store. This cost me $1 back in the day. Now you can't find it for anything less than 50.
I think it's great. It looks like an antique.
I mean, it looks sturdy. That's the most important thing when it comes to glass for me.
It doubles as a weapon, an improvised weapon. You never know when you need something at hand.
And it's got a handle.
That's right.
A
A handle
with
and
a
everything.
handle.
No slip handle.
Red.
Grateful says a Homer Simpson approved mug.
Yeah, as long as it balances on the belly. Red, what kind of prep work do you got to do at this time of the year for outdoor and like preparation for next year's crop? Do you do anything? Are you pulling up like roots or or like stems rather? Or are you just like chopping it through? I mean, I know how you're doing it, but like, what would you recommend for anybody that's got to do any kind of prep work for next year? Is there anything to do?
Machete in each hand and just spin.
Spin like a helicopter.
Yep.
It all depends on your system. We're doing different things in different plots.
100%.
Some areas we're cover cropping, some areas are mulched heavily, some areas are chopped and dropped, some areas are not. It all depends on the plants. It all depends on the foliage. It all depends on the disease pressure. It all depends on the pest pressure, the seed pressure, the weed pressure.
That's one pro tip that I do this time of year is gather leaves, man. Leaves are like gold.
Yeah, I mean, our
They're
cannabis
everywhere.
beds are being They're going to get cover cropped and then they're going to get mulched. We've got a winter cover crop mix of like winter rye, wheat, vetch, clover, some stuff like that are going to go down. They may or may not get terminated in the spring. Might just plant into them depending on what we even plant. Some of the beds are getting like lettuce and stuff like that, kale, radish for a cover crop, doing like greens and things like that for winter cover crops because they have plastic hoops and we can keep them covered. Cannabis goes all over the garden. So that's something we don't even worry about until like July of next year. But I mean, putting compost into beds, garlic's going in the ground. Those beds will get mulch. Those beds will get compost. There's areas that are going to get a lot of the areas just have stuff still growing in them. Calendula is still growing. A lot of like just
Calendula is badass, dude.
strawberries take off. They go everywhere. We have a lot of ground cover and cover crop and stuff that's just out there. The main deal is just not exposing the soil. So whatever you can really do, if it's tossing cardboard down, if it's putting a piece of plastic down, if it's, whatever you got to do to just keep your soil covered and to keep your weed pressure and invasive pressures down, to keep disease pressure. A big thing about disease pressures is a lot of it's in the soil and soil splashes and stuff. So just keeping your soil covered keeps a lot of those diseases from even getting on the leaves in the first place. It's just mulching this time of year. The leaves are coming down from the trees. We're chopping them up, putting them in the garden beds. The grass is, getting maintained and clipped. That's getting chopped up, put in the garden beds. All of the plants, the jungle of plants is all getting chopped up and put into the garden beds. And dude, I stand like there's a dozen pepper plants. Each pepper plant is getting snip. Each branch snips. I don't have a wood chipper. I have an electric wood chipper to run through, but they're too like, matrix to like toss into a wood chipper. You know what I mean? Like they're not long, nice branches. So I just deal with them. Some stuff we could toss through the wood chipper, sunflower stalks, hemp stalks, cannabis stalks. We can toss all that shit through the wood chipper. And I do. But most of it really just gets hand shears. And yeah, dude, a machete. You go through the garden with the fucking machete, chop stuff. All the weeds and shit that are there. This time of year, I'm making new pathways and clearing and hike, hauling there's a dozen compost piles throughout the place. There's, anything green right now that's edible is not getting dug up. We're leaving it just to have food sources for whatever. There's anything that has flowers, brassicas, radishes, any radishes or whatever that's like left over, we're leaving it. There's the peppers we didn't take all the way to the ground either. We left about this much of a stalk. We're leaving stalks, we're leaving foliage, we're leaving stuff out there for our pollinators to overwinter. And if we get rid of all of that stuff, we almost have to start from scratch trying to attract them all. You want them to overwinter and you want them to be there at the beginning of the next season, not have to bring them back in. And the diversity back there is intense. All the cannabis that we hung, I didn't find any bug pressure in any of the cannabis. I didn't find any mold pressure. We had some powdery mildew on a plant that just wasn't at the health of. I think just the genetics of it just were susceptible to PM, but everything else was, it was a good year. It didn't have the rain. I wasn't harvesting in the rain all of the end of October like I usually am. So we had a really good year. But that being said, we also had a really good year for diversity. We started off the year with like the mantises that were just naturally brought into the garden. Never really saw parasitic wasps in the past. They're out there in herds, in swarms. Parasitic wasps, little tiny little ones, big ones. Barely saw aphids this year. Aphids are usually pretty heavy. Hardly saw any aphids this year.
What were we? I don't remember who I was just talking to about this, and I don't think it was on a podcast, but I mistakenly, like a year or two probably ago on this show, mistakenly thought there was just colonies of spider mites everywhere hanging in the trees and stuff, you know, when you're driving down the roads, and it's just like you see these giant webs. It's not spider mites, they're like caterpillars or something. Spartan, do you remember what they're called? I think you were the one that corrected.
Tent worms.
Tent worms, okay.
Yeah.
I have seen so few of those this year. I think that also has something to do with what Red's talking about. I don't know if those are related to aphids or anything like that, but it just seems like there was less bug pressure, or like just less bugs in general this year. I mean, even like yellow jackets and stuff.
There's a lot more spiders. There's a lot more spiders, which fucks up the insects, that's for sure.
We have quite a bit of insects out there. Kind of had everything. I'm covering spider bites right now. I've got 4 or 5 different spider bites on me currently. I've got 3 of them on my right foot, going on my thumb. Loaded, dude.
Do you have those around your area, Red? The tent worms?
I don't think so. We have caterpillars and worms that drop down from the trees. They decimated our. We had some.
These ones you would know because you look up in the tree and you see a big white fucking cocoon that covers a huge spot.
I know what you're talking about.
Then there's just be like a bunch of those little fucking that's gross.
Like our yard.
Yeah, it's creeping me out just looking at these pictures I'm about to show you.
That's fucking gross. Fire is what I say. Yeah, fire will burn that shit up quick.
Yeah, those are really, really popular and heavy around June up in the forest. Went hiking up there, and those things were just dropping from the sky, dude.
It's raining worms.
Yeah,
It's just fucking
gross,
nasty.
I did see a lot of like the little tiny green silkworms or whatever that are just like dangling in space. You're like, what is this?
Blowing in the breeze and shit.
Yeah, they're just driving into the tractor or whatever in the back. You just all of a sudden you get like 3 of them.
Gross. Yeah, it's like that.
They come out of the cloud, like they I think they feed on clouds or something.
It's like, yeah, it's like nature's little dingleberries.
Nature's clouds berries. Tree berries.
Yeah, we also had less apples this year. Our apples, I know we talked about this, kind of rotate every other year because we don't really treat them or anything. So I think they give it their all one year and then kind of, don't have much left to give the next year and then go back and cycle that again. That absolutely attracts the bees, the run them over, but the deer love them, man. I mean, so few deer this year. Last year I showed you guys that one rack. I was in my backyard. I just walked back there and took them. You know what I mean? Like
you're saying you see so few deer this year? I think I saw a ton of deer on the side of the road dead, so that they're somewhere.
I'm just saying on my property, but yeah, I think the rut's going on right now because oh my gosh, the deer everywhere. They're everywhere on the side of the road right now. It's like
last week, I think a little bit.
It's like late May, early June when all the Bambis just get smoked by every single car on the expressway. But now it's full-grown mamas and stuff, though. It's rough.
So yeah, one other thing that I didn't mention that I'd say is kind of crucial that I do this time of year. Not to stop the off topic, of course, but is I will part of the, I guess, I don't know, cover cropping or so. It's not really cover cropping, but it's just taking random annuals, seeds, even perennials, seeds, just seeds in general, collecting them. And all, like I held this up. It looks like a little brain. These are the next round of seeds that I'm planting. These are pepper seeds. That's a pepper inside of a pepper, yellow bell pepper. So saving some seeds, but also stuff that I know will overwinter well. A lot of the flower, dill, radishes, fucking leafy greens. Like we have collards. We have wild collards in our yard. If we see a broadleaf coming up that kind of looks like a dandelion, there's a good chance it's actually collards just wildly growing in our yard. So like a lot of that stuff, I'll take the flowers, I'll take the seed pods, and I'll just grab a handful of fucking seed pods, and I'll wander around my garden and scatter them throughout the beds. That way they come in native or wild or volunteer or whatever. It's just kind of part of the food forest aspect, and you end up turning annuals into perennials in that sense, and just let them continue to repropagate and populate themselves. And in a way, it saves me from having to plant some things. I get surprises when I'm, hunting for one thing. I'm like, oh, there's a random radish I didn't plant. But like it really helps to just add to the biodiversity. And if you don't want it there, you need to put something else there. You trim it, cut it back, pull it, whatever you got to do to get rid of it. You know what I mean? But just having stuff growing and creating a canopy, so to speak, just, taking up root space, taking up stem space, taking up leaf square footage, basically will help prevent a lot of the unwanted stuff growing in. So put whatever you can out there, and just, help. It'll just shade out, and stuff will work, stuff won't. Throw big stuff in the middle of your beds, add to about, we have perennials, and all of our annual beds have a perennial, whether it's in the middle of the bed or in the ends of the bed or somewhere. Almost all of our beds have a perennial of some sort. So, yarrow, lavender, valerian's a great one.
I think kale's beginning to be a perennial with all the climate change.
We have like a 3rd-year kale right now.
Me too, dude. It's going strong. 2 frost. It's still going strong out there. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, our kale in our backyard we planted last like 2023.
I went to a restaurant recently that had kale growing in pots out front. I was just like big planters that they replaced probably already their mums with or something. I'm just like, they fucking got fresh ass kale out here. I'm like, I guess my salad's on the way in, huh?
Yeah. Smart, why not?
Yeah, kale take freezes. A lot of stuff will. A lot of your leafy greens will take the cold. They grow better in the cold. A lot of stuff you can't even grow above. A lot of that stuff you can't grow above 50, 60 degrees.
Yeah, it starts bolting, and
you have to keep it in the cold.
It's just the kale, the radish, my elderberry, and my sagebush, and the St. John's wort are all still have green.
Our limiting factor this time of year in growing anything in the ground isn't so much the temperature, it's the direction and the amount of sunlight, because the sun's at such an angle that you don't get good properties. Yeah, you don't get good intensity. And then the amount of day length that we actually have is so short, you just don't get enough photosynthesis to get good growth. So the idea is to like get things like lettuce and stuff like that established and grown by now. And then you just keep them covered all winter long, and they won't die. They just stay big. They won't grow, but they won't die, right? So
like the head start.
You can eat that. You can store them in the ground essentially, and it's almost good that they won't grow because they won't age. They won't bolt. They won't go bitter because it's not hot. They're always going to stay delicious. So like this is the time for greens right now.
Yep.
We do have we have one of our beds, we got a few dozen heads of lettuce out there, and getting bigger, and they're well established now. We actually have some spinach that's bolting. It's like too hot for spinach actually.
Damn. I'm so glad I bought the bagger for my lawnmower, because with all the leaves down, I can just drive over the leaves really slow, and it'll just chop them up real fine and throw them in the bagger. Then I can use that bag. I can just empty a bag into my bed. So I'm covering all my beds with just chopped oak leaves. And I'm putting this big, thick ass mulch layer. So now I won't have to worry about weeds. I'll just brush that out of the way. By the end of winter, it'll be half gone. I guarantee it'll be half as thick, if not less. That looks good there. That tree, what is that?
It is Cherry Paloma.
Oh, the Cherry Paloma. Nice.
Yeah. The cut that everybody passed around from the Dude Grow Show. Shit, name is escaping me now.
JR Token?
Yeah, JR Token. That's it. Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Tara wanted to take some with her to work tomorrow, so I didn't have any of that trimmed up yet. So I'm going to put some of that in a jar for her to take to work, and then
That's
some GG4 along with it. So yeah, this one looks pretty good. This was under the what did I grow this one under? It's under HLG light, older one, or say HLG 750. Is that, I think, something like that.
550. There's a 600.
Or 600. 600 is what it was.
Yeah.
It was one of my first lights still, and I don't know. I like I like the color spectrum of the. I am due for an upgrade. I do admit that I'm due for an upgrade. I think I like the chilled light better, and I think the GG4 would have done better under the chilled light instead of the HLG light. But that's going to be the next time I grow GG4. I'm going to put it under that light instead. And I don't know. I think I might have had issues also with the city water here. The PPMs seem to be awful high, coming in like 400 right off the bat. Or the EC, is that what you said? The EC 400?
Yeah, if it's got 400
or parts per million. PPM is what I mean. Yeah, 400 coming out right off the bat. And so I'm not really, whenever I mix my nutrients, I usually only go like 80% or so just because of that. And
yeah, just minus that 400 out. So if they say that, for example, if they say mix it to 1,000 ppms, then you would mix it to 600 ppm. So you just minus that 400. You just take that out. And usually with that 400 is on most waters, it's usually calcium, so it's not that terrible of a thing.
I was gonna say it all depends on what the mineral is because it might not even be anything that would cause lockout. I guess with calcium you might, but yeah, I don't know. That's probably the best way to do it, is just to go light on your feed.
Yeah, exactly. You can just subtract that out, and then
yeah, do the math.
This should get you close.
Like you might go low on other things though, because you're not like, it's not like that other
kind of got in the way.
percent.
Right, but it's so much better to go low than to go high, right? So
I know. It just
that.
doesn't have like the nitrogen that you might need, or like, it's like just water, mineral, whatever's in our, like it's calcium, and then it's like probably magnesium, and it's probably
right, but you could just water more.
Is fluoride coming up on your ppm or anything like that coming up on your EC meter? Any of that shit in your water is going to show up on EC? I don't know.
It has to be a mineral. I'm not sure.
Or like any other water additives. However many dozens of water.
Sure, you could reach out to your city.
Are you on city water? Not sure.
Yeah.
City water, is it well?
You should be able to look at
Well,
that report.
it's usually ground minerals. Well is usually a lot easier to figure out what it is than coming out. I guess the city is easier because
Yeah, city is easier because they release reports usually yearly.
Or what's in it, but
Yeah, you just got to go get your well tested, which
but there's likely like no nitrogen or phosphorus or anything like that in there. So, you said you're trimming. I'm curious, who do you guys trim your personal weed? I don't trim my personal. I grab a nug out of our weed and I'll trim it before I smoke it. I was wondering who actually trims their personal weed.
I trim all my weed, yeah.
Your personal weed? Yes.
I trim the whole plant. It's usually a plant. It's not 50 plants, right? When it comes to Trichome Forge, we're just trimming for fresh frozen and making it into concentrate. So
what about like
I was trimming? I guess the reason I was trimming
your flower.
Yeah, my personal flower and the flower that we grow there, we hand trim.
Yeah, I just leave mine bucked down and with the sugar leaves on it. And,
I guess the reason I was trimming this one was to show it off on camera. Was maybe why I was.
No, I was just
trimming
curious.
But no, usually not either.
Everybody's got a
Usually
reason,
do.
right? Like if you're gonna take some
The family,
some friends, you definitely want it trimmed up. You know what I mean? To show somebody.
Sure.
I'd say for me that'd be the only reason to trim it. Otherwise, it's got leaves on it, and it's just whatever. I'm usually don't smoke them. What sucks about those leaves and what I do like about trimming my weed better is because those sugar leaves end up going into an ashtray. They don't end up going
Oh,
into.
fuck that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I
the
trim my,
ashtray
shit,
goes
I trim my
across,
shit and I put them in the jars, trimmed.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, they come out. They're in my jars and they're trimmed. Maybe that's anal, but I don't give a fuck. And I'm taking those leaves and they're trimmed over top of my trim tray, and I love that fucking hash out of that trim tray. Yeah, exactly, right there.
Trim Ben.
See, I should have the fan leaves already off of it, but I didn't
Yeah,
get them all
usually,
off.
yeah, the fan
But
leaves I usually don't even go make it to the trim
It's-
bin. They usually go either.
Yeah, me too, but this is an exception, I guess. Here, I left some of them on in this case. Or maybe I'm lazy.
Everybody's got their own way of doing it. It don't
There's
matter.
not that many on here, though. There's really not that many families still left. Truthfully, I think this was a harder one to get to in the back of the tent, where I didn't go to the. And I could have gone to the backside more of the tent when it was in the corner, and it was doing just fine. It was one of the better ones in that one that looked great. So I kind of left it go and do its own thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I should have definitely before it's all good. They're getting taken off now.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Be fine.
Yeah,
No, it's
I always
better.
hate anything that's slightly dead. Like when it's alive, I try to get anything that's even near dead off the plant because once the whole plant dries up, that little dead shit gets all stuck to your gloves and stuff.
Breaks
and
up into a
all-
bunch of different pieces and it just contaminates the
Yeah, it contaminates your sift
ashes. Yeah.
and ashes. And I try to
Speaking
do
of gloves, yeah, I got gloves on too right now.
that's the other good thing about personal
Personal
Those are
stuff.
real comfy gloves. They fit your hands real tight.
Out of them at the moment. I could probably find some old ones, but personal
you're
stash.
better off with just hands, I think, than old gloves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the part about personals. You need to do.
Personal.
Hila in chat wants to know if we know about organite crystal growing. I don't have any knowledge about the organite crystal growing myself. No.
I mean, we're all growing crystals. I just don't know if it's that category of crystals.
Got some trichomes.
Yeah, boy.
Oil farmers.
You don't grow organite.
Uh-oh.
See,
Red knows
knew
all
about
about
this.
it.
Red brought this up. I knew Red would have an input on this.
I want to enjoy my
Oh, this is
strawberries
organite.
while I
This is
grow
organite right here.
organite.
This is organite.
Don't sit on that. Oh my god.
Organite's man-made. It's pyramid. It contains of all of your chakra crystals and a coil of copper. Developed back in like sometime in the late 70s, mid 80s, or something like that. It's an original organite from the era, found in a thrift shop. There's the meditating Buddha on there. Yeah. But yeah, so it has your coil, orgone.
There you go. You thought we just should pull something out and you're not going to be able to.
Don't know anything about growing them. This
You
is
can buy them.
stack. Yeah, you have to kind of create it. Similar to building like copper pyramids and using matrices and things like that with spirals and crystals and coppers and you running harmonics and frequencies through them and doing all that kind of stuff. This more or less takes good and bad energies out and away and expels it, cleans your atmosphere. It rids your home of bad energies. A very interesting one. Not too long after I got this in my house, somebody came and was like asking for the rest of my ex's stuff. Super bizarre stuff. She hadn't been here in like a couple years. Got this, and like the last of like that energy was gone. It was like it like worked. You know what I mean? It was super wild. But yeah, that's Oregon.
Nice.
I don't know.
I think you answered that question fully, man.
I don't know if I did though, because it
I
might
think
be.
you did. The only thing that you didn't answer was about growing, and you didn't really.
Yeah, we might be talking about two different things though. If you're talking about growing it, I was just learning about growing Shit. It starts with a B. I was talking to Becca about it the other night. Benzenite. Is it benzenite crystal?
Stops radiation and really boosts growing in the soil.
Benzenite. Oh, like growing with orgone, like using orgone in our grow. I mean, we have we have crystals in our grow rooms, and
Shout out to Sheldon trying out the herbs.
like keeping it in our home. I mean, we just keep them in our home. I actually have a couple different things that I've kind of put together. I got a couple other pyramids that I made that don't really have anything to do with orgone.
Don't bring out a fucking mashed potato pyramid.
I got this pyramid that I made out of just some whatevers, and then I have I believe this is Granddaddy Purple. I did a Granddaddy Purple pyramid here.
Nice.
So we have a Nug pyramid.
Keep it resonated.
Absolutely, you got to keep your chakras in line there, including your.
Maybe you're going to bring out a baking soda and vinegar pyramid where it was a volcano come out.
Ooh.
That'd be exciting.
What's up, 6th grade?
That was badass. I love that.
And what the hell kind of? You take a certain type of mineral. I can't think of what it's called. It's not benzenite. It starts with a B though, and you add like metal or something to it. To the liquid, and it creates a reaction, and it structures a geometric like pyramid. It's super cool what the stuff does. It crystallizes in like almost the Aztec pyramid shape, looking, but they're like not just pyramid. It's almost like the stairs that repeat itself type of a thing. Like it's super cool. Like that if it was an Aztec pyramid.
Like this?
Not at all. No.
Dang it. Nothing like these.
No. Those are all man manufactured. This is a natural.
I think by not at all, that would be like nothing.
No. Those are resin pyramids. This is a crystal created by.
Oh, it's just a crystal on its own.
Created by like molted benzenite or whatever. It starts with a B. I can't think of the element.
I typed in mineral, add metal, resin, geometric pyramid.
Not resin. Not resin. No.
Okay.
Not resin. That's what fucked it up.
Crystal fucking something. I was
Fucking something. Make sure you get the fucking something at the end too. Bismuth crystals. Master Groshi says.
Bismuth. Yes. Thank you. Bismuth. Yeah.
There we go.
Also, butts are funny.
Yeah. You
Butts are
take bismuth and then you
So let's see a bismuth crystal pyramid.
I'm
liquid
working on it.
bismuth, and then you can either let it react naturally on its own, or you can speed up the process.
Oh, there you go.
And yeah, they basically create these psychedelic
Wow, that's cool.
pyramids. I was being a little baseline saying that it's a simple Aztec pyramid. Not that an Aztec pyramid is simple by any means, but like it's way more intricate than what that would be. But it's like stacked in that sort of geometric sense. Square, many squares, lots of squares. But yeah, super psychedelic.
Not quite fractal, but kind of reminiscent of that. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, it's a scale of itself, right? It scales down, right? It is fractal in that sense,
like that, like
Yeah.
You just put that on make that a medallion and wear that around,
They
man.
go
bro, I
for-
could just stare at this all day. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
they
lie.
go for a decent amount of money too, like anywhere from like 5 to like 150, 250. Like people spend money on those things. It's wild. And you can grow them. That is a crystal that you can grow, and they grow rather instantly. They grow really fast.
It reminds me of that like staircase.
That's what I said. Yeah, the infinite staircase. Like
Is
the
that what it's called?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck it's called, but it's that like infinite staircase
Wild.
mixed in with Aztec pyramid.
Now I gotta find that picture.
Yeah. I forget who does that. Denali or
Imagine that reaction happening on a larger scale. Like just get like a massive amount of that and make that into
yeah, I wonder
Freeze
how I wonder how it would if it just creates to the size of its vessel. You know what I mean?
Right.
How it attains its size and shape. Oh, there's other things you can do with it. You can let's say you have your bismuth vessel. You can put different frequencies underneath it, right? So you put yeah, it's totally like that.
Or you can just pick up the movie The Labyrinth of David Bowie.
You can
Yeah,
put
There you go.
dance, baby, dance,
what kind of magic?
baby, sing. Throw a little baby around. If you play different frequencies beneath it, if you put it on a speaker, it'll make different shapes. You can actually change their shape, control their shapes in a way, or make different shapes out of them by changing the frequency and the waves. Some people have tried experiments with angry music, sad music, happy music, mad music, things like that, and they make all kinds of different shapes based on tones. And super cool experiments been done with bismuth and the way that it creates a crystal. It's kind of interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff affecting and
Like how you
shaping
make a spaceship.
energies. You know,
See.
that cannabis plant, the big one, the granddaddy, and the large
Granddaddy cannabis plant.
giant Mexican sunflower within, you know, I don't know, an arm's reach of both their roots. There was an electroculture rod sitting in the ground, a bamboo stake with copper wire wrapped up it, and a little squiggle out the top, and dug into the ground. And I don't know what the odds are of whether or not that gave any earth energy to those plants, but those were the biggest plants in the garden right there in that bed. So they were in a good location for sunshine, other things like that. But I don't know. The bed itself isn't as old as the other bed. Like the other beds have way more fertility. And well, I don't know. I haven't done a soil test. You'd think they had more fertility, but maybe they've also been used more. Maybe they need more fertility. I don't know. But I'm gonna go with it was the electroculture thing, and then just keep rocking it and see how it works. The plants got bigger than the electroculture rod. That's all I care about. That's the goal. So make a really big electroculture rod.
Do you have any opinion on spraying cow manure over just massive amounts of farmland and how that is either beneficial or not?
I think that's beneficial usually.
I'd say it's beneficial up to the point to where you get a 10-year, 100-year, 50-year storm or rain, and it like washes it off into a local river source, or like even down into your neighbor's property or something like that. Otherwise, I would
You said
imagine
neighbors. Who gives a fuck about them, right?
Yeah, downstream.
Generally-
pools.
generally around, you know,
Are they
like,
coming up there and helping me? Fuck them.
I mean, generally there's a river or a creek or something that it's going to get washed into, and eventually just spike phosphates and shit like that in local water sources. But otherwise, I don't have a big opinion on it, man. I mean,
It's
helps
like an
with
organic source, but it's still like not. It's still commercial. You know, like
fertility. It's
How so?
well, it could still contain
the
glyphosate.
scale.
It can still contain
Well, I
glyphosate.
guess, yeah,
So it
but yeah, I mean, there's a worse example for every situation, but there's also best
For sure.
example.
It's
Right.
definitely not. I wouldn't consider it organic.
That's why I asked for the thought experiment.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think for sure there's organic
Cows are eating-
certified cow manure. I'm sure there is.
If the cows are eating a systemic herbicide on the grass that they eat, if it's grass-fed
For
cows and they're eating systemic herbicides, that systemic herbicide is in their feces, and it's in your cannabis plants if you grow in that feces, or whatever plants you grow in that cow manure. That systemic herbicide will then be in those plants. And
Are you
it might,
talking about the same systemic herbicide that's already in all of our blood? Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, that same one, the
What's
glyphosate
the point? It's already there.
accumulation.
I just sweat that shit out, man.
My grandma just died of Alzheimer's, so I want as little bit of that as possible, because that is a treacherous disease to have.
Yeah.
That's definitely what those things, and you know, they destroy your mind. A lot of
Right.
that's linked to dementia and Yeah. But. And
Apparently,
cancer,
weed combats that though, so there's that.
terrible stuff to get.
I actually just read. I know I've read this before because I love CBG. You guys know that, but CBG is potentially cancer fighting, along with plethora of other things like antibacterial properties and some other stuff. But shout out CBG. What up?
Well, CBG is like early, like you harvested too
Mhm.
early.
It can be. It's also just more distinctly present, and I think the haze variety, from my experience.
Yeah, because it never stops flowering. Makes
Mhm.
sense. It's the precursor to THC and CBD, so it's like the step before, I guess.
Yeah, we were getting. I think it's just over 2. I don't think I ever broke 3%, but I know it was like 2 point something percent CBG.
Nice.
It was almost as much as our terpenes on Lime Skunk. So
Damn.
it's like the terpene percentage overall was equal to the CBG percentage, just about, I think.
What about CBN? Was there any of that?
Very few plants I've grown have had high levels of, or notable levels of CBN, from what I
Right.
recall.
Right, I was just interested if there's any at all. Like if I would say, like if I was got a test result that I had CBG but I didn't have any CBN, I'd be like, okay, I can push that probably later.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's what they'd tell me. If it was the opposite, though, I had like a percentage or a partial percentage of CBN. I'm like, no, I'm already pushing that.
CBN being a CB1 agonist, I would say definitely would help push that blood-brain barrier and give you protection, because what I'm reading here, permeation of glyphosate molecules elevate the expression of a TNFA and the accumulation of soluble beta amyloid, which are plaque proteins in the brain, and has associations with immune, inflammatory, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's disease. So glyphosate's also linked to Alzheimer's and those things. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that cannabis will stop that. But if it has neuroprotective properties, then you could assume that it could help protect that. Lion's mane.
I read a study that it has more than neuroprotective, that I've even seen some neurogenesis even with cannabis. So
if you can do that, but still, keeping it out of your body is still the best way to defend against it. So just trying to, that's why I would say, like, if I used cow manure on my field, I would want to know what the cow ate specifically. I wouldn't use ag manure. I wouldn't use, the 1,000-acre cattle farm down the street. I wouldn't use them. I would use my buddy's cow who feeds them organic grass, etc. Back to the manure question. But that's the difference, though. I mean, there are a lot of people who don't spray their grass, and but there's also farmers that are spraying it because they're harvesting grass 3 to 5 times a year.
I was often curious, like where, for instance, my runoff, when I dump it down the sewage or whatever, where it goes and how it gets filtered, and if it's bad for the environment too, possibly, too.
Well, it's like the same thing if you dump bleach down your drains, or if you dump anything down your drains. Like all that stuff gets supposed to get treated properly at a plant. I mean, in theory, you're not supposed to dump a lot of stuff down your drains, right? A lot of stuff is supposed to go into a treatment plant and facility. So,
and it goes through filters. To answer your question, they go through filters. If you have a sewage, if you have like just your own drain field, you're just dumping that into your yard. Basically, is what you're doing.
That's why I don't use a lot of bleach products and stuff like that at our facility, because of those reasons.
Yeah, it'll screw up your septic tank, like
We put
diversity
vinegar,
biome, if you will.
Well, what would be what you'd think would be okay? It's just, it's good for the plant, right? Well, it could. Maybe there's a a nearby tree root that's near to where your drain field is, and you're dumping nitrogen-rich runoff into there. Now that fucking root is gonna grow like a bitch all up in your drain field and plug you up in like no time.
Yeah, dude. I just tried cutting my grass yesterday, and my drain mound is impossible to mow. Like, it is so thick. The grass is so lush and so green. It is so thick. You know what I mean?
Yep. It's always gonna be that way too.
It doesn't even look taller than the rest of the grass. It just bogs it down, man.
Yeah. Then you go over that barefoot though. It's awesome, probably.
It's nice and lush. It's always soaking wet. I need to stop using an RO system, is what it is. I just need to figure out something. The problem is it's a well, and I kind of need to use it.
What other options do you have? Ship it in?
Yeah, I'd probably just bring water from home. I could bring water from here and pay for it.
Just get one of those why is the name escaping me? The car with basically the pool in the back. I mean, I guess you could just get a truck and put a tarp in the back and make a pool, but driving it back and forth from one place to another.
Get a tanker.
I just try not to make tight turns.
Just splash them.
Could stick a couple IBC totes in a trailer.
I've seen that before.
And then nobody would know. Just back in the
Right.
Yeah.
Fill it up at the lake. Just go down to the lake and fill it up.
An interesting microbe action.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? No, I'd filter
Yeah.
it, of course. There's boats in our lakes. I go to a non-sporting lake and find one of those.
There you go.
Find one that's not by industry
Also that.
Or farmland. I mean, what the
or
fuck?
farmland. Yeah.
Yeah, you basically got to go to the UP guys, or just go diving deep into like the Lake Superior or something. I don't know.
Cold ass water too, man.
I don't even think that like Torch Lake is like free of chemicals and shit anymore. No way.
It's definitely got a bunch of fucking sewage in it with other goddamn people in it.
Like it's up there in the Charlevoix area. I mean, man, there's so many people that go on that lake. I know you can't I don't think you can take motorized boats out on that lake still.
How many gallons of straight human piss do you think get emptied into that lake every year?
Well, that's sterile. That's probably the least of your worries.
So it makes it clear.
I don't know. I don't want to swim in piss. It's not really my thing.
Those who don't know, Torch Lake in Michigan is like going to the Caribbean. It's amazingly beautifully
Clear, yeah.
clear. It's deep, and you can see the bottom of the lake. It is an amazing. I think it's spring fed. Might be one of the main reasons it stays so clear. But it is a beautiful natural monument here in Michigan. It's a big lake, a very large lake in northeastern Lower Peninsula.
Party
And
lake.
yeah, it's a big lake, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's so if it's sunny out, it is so sky blue. It's like seriously
Are
going.
you talking about Torch Lake still?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it spring
Northwest.
fed?
It's northwest, right? Yeah.
Northwest. I mean.
Northwest, yeah.
You can. There is boating and stuff on it. It's huge. That lake is massive. Isn't it like
Huge.
I don't know, what does it got to be like? Maybe not 20 miles. Like
It's nothing like a Great Lake. What are you talking about? We're talking about like Great Lakes in your
I
comment.
mean, for an inland lake, it's pretty nice. But
It's like 100 feet deep. I think it's like 100 feet deep, 80 feet deep.
is it?
I think.
Let's look it up.
It's pretty deep.
Torch Lake depth. 285. Dang.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
I thought, whoa, that's crazy.
19 miles long. Well, it's almost 20 miles
19
long.
miles.
Is it an all sports lake? Do they allow all?
Yeah,
all-
it's tubing and all that. Yeah, sailboating.
Is it a spring-fed 19-mile lake? That would be impressive as shit.
Well, something's keeping it clear because
Yeah.
there was something that you weren't allowed to use motorized boats on it back in the day or something like that. I didn't think you could.
It's the longest inland lake. 30, almost 30 square miles. Second largest inland lake after Houghton Lake.
Oh,
This has a maximum depth of 310 feet, average depth of 111. Deepest inland lake. State's largest by volume. It's freaking
Oh.
huge. Primary inflows are the Clam River.
We got clams up there, Clam River.
Maybe the clams are keeping it clear.
There you go. Filters. That takes you to Lake Michigan, I take it.
Clams are serious
Torch
filters. So I don't
River
know
and
if
then
they'd be filtering the water like that, but they do a good job of filtering.
Clam River is a 51-mile-long tributary of the Muskegon River.
50 miles of clams, man. That's good.
That's
Source-
a lot of filtering.
Oh, the source of the river is located in downtown Cadillac at the
That's not
Epidemius
Yeah,
Lake
do you,
Cadillac.
you know why? Because Cadillac used to be called Clam.
It all makes sense now.
Clam City.
Clam City.
I got my clam Escalade.
Yeah.
So Cadillac Lake is the source.
I got mine painted
Wow.
in pearl paint. Oh,
Pearl.
yeah, pearl. Clams have pearls too. Well,
Yeah, they do. Takes them a while, but they get them.
good. We could go insured pearls and go inoculate clams with sand. Spend an afternoon doing that.
I just
a long time for that to play out.
I feel like
40 years ago, man.
I
Good
feel like
morale.
we,
Digging back-
Mushroom hunting.
I mean, can we just appreciate, considering how clear that lake is? Way up here is Torch Lake, and the source of it is here. I
Yeah.
mean,
Close north.
50 miles or whatever it said.
See that city north of Cadillac, Manton? Those two cities kind of went to war back in the day.
Oh, tell me more.
Yeah.
Over what?
It was they're trying to the county seat. So that county, I forget the name of it, but they were trying to move the county seat, and one had it, and then the other one wanted it. So they just rode the train up to Manton and fucking took this shit. Started kind of a little mini war. It wasn't really a war, but interesting history up there in Michigan.
1882? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, probably around that time. Yeah.
Cadillac's decade-long struggle for the county seat came to a
There
head
you
on
go.
April 4th,
Yeah.
1882, when ballots were cast throughout the county to determine whether the coveted prize should be moved from Manton to Cadillac. 12 months, okay.
Say in 1482.
1882.
I was like
300 years before
Dude.
America.
Christopher Columbus didn't even sail the ocean blue.
Oh, wow.
I remember this story. One of the guy was armed with a broom, and the funny thing is at the end of it all, whatever, he was from Cadillac, so he was one of the attackers, and at the end of it all, he filed a thing with the county or whatever, the city, saying that he broken his broom, so they awarded him like $2 to get a new broom.
Two different versions of what happened next. So like there was townships like destroying their ballots.
Yeah, it took all the fucking paperwork out. They just decided to go and rob it all.
Talk about election interference.
They had a plan to let them in.
Cadillac's version tells of a mob of over 200 Manton men who drove off the
Yeah,
small
they didn't even have the
Manton
population in Manton of that, which is hilarious.
Manton's version claims the city was deserted and only a handful of men were in town. Although outnumbered, these brave few quickly gathered at the courthouse and confronted the heavily armed Cadillacers. The safe was overturned. Cadillac men produced firearms, and a drunken county clerk urged the murder of Mantonites. Nonetheless, the Mantonites managed to force attackers back to Cadillac in fear.
They couldn't take the safe, so then they went back and they told everybody, and they came back with a bunch of a big mob of people to go back and take their safe.
I laugh because these towns are battling, 150 years ago or whatever, and then you're driving up I-75 going through Oakland County, and you drive by Auburn Hills, and it's younger than everyone on this panel, and it's like, hold on.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of Manton until now. Yet we got these towns that are cities now that are, hundreds of thousands of people or whatever.
Gotta love the Manton, man.
I love that little Michigan history stuff like that. I appreciate you letting me know about that one. I could go down a rabbit hole after the show now.
Hey, there you go.
That's why I always talk about the Irish Hills history, because it's
Mhm.
what like it is. It's a fascinating short history, short couple hundred years of a lot of different. A lot's
Dude, I'm-
happened here. A lot's happened in Michigan between the French and the British, and the French and the
Yeah.
British, and the
French
natives,
Canadians.
natives and the French, the natives, the French, and the British, and like it's wild. It's super wild.
Yeah.
They're good together. They're bad together. They're good. They're fighting. They're not fighting. Like it's a wild stuff. And here we are today. You know, we're still fighting. Fuck.
Yeah, there's still land reserves, and I was looking at that on the map today. Actually, different, just where like casinos are, and they're just like cut out, and then like a mile later they have this another like 10 acres, and it's so weird how it's all parceled out or whatever. But here we are.
That's why I like
2024.
where we're at in the Irish Hills region, because there's no actual ownership of the land up until like the 1800s or something like that. Nobody set precedent to like that corridor. The M50 US 12 corridor essentially is a trading post ground. So like you would get Pawnee, you would get Ottawa, you'd get all the different
Salt
tribes,
Trail.
all different regions coming together and do their trading posts there. Nobody was like, it wasn't anybody's land. It was like, all right, we're all going to congregate, we're going to hunt, we're going to do whatever we want here, and we're going to go back to our fucking own independent areas. And did how maybe they weren't, I shouldn't say tribes at the time, because who knows what it was at the time. They probably,
Hunter gatherers.
but they had their own, they had their own like boundaries and borders or whatever. And
Yeah,
they,
look into the Sauk Trail. That's another rabbit hole. Saulk. It goes right through Jackson too. Right,
That's-
talking. It's like the mammoths would travel it, so that then the
Nice.
people would follow behind them, and then that became a road. And
All righty. Well, next time
was-
on the late sesh,
yeah.
we can talk about all this beautiful Michigan history, and I think we really should, honestly. Cheers, guys. Appreciate you guys joining me for the show tonight, and cheers, chat. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, and let your friends know every Sunday night.
keep
We'll be
going, everybody.
here.
drive US 12. Cheers.